Well, here's one for you to try. Now, this is really simple. We've got two parts of this painting. We've got a figure, a nice little girl in a pink dress. Then we have a very energetic and colourful foreground which supports her. So this is about painting a figure. I'll show you how I do it, 3 steps. Get the shape, colour it in, and then use contrast to shape it, to give it the 3-dimensional look. And then, once we've got that, we then need to establish the foundation for that figure. We need to energise the foreground. Where's she standing? What's she standing in? How can we power that up? Well, I'm going to show you a special technique that I use with this pastry brush, which I completely destroy on one side in order to get the effect I want. It's a skipping technique, but it works. And then I add this brush to it to drop in some little pink parts and little curly parts that really energise that front. So enjoy this painting, and I hope you learn from it. It's a good one. So this is a painting of a girl with a pink dress in a field. Off we go, my camera, and I've got a young lady down there in a pink dress, and she's doing some nice posing for me. And over we go to the palette now and the paint and the canvas, and we darken in the top where that'll give us an accent area to put the figure against. It'll make it pop out a lot more. I'm putting some foreground in here. You notice I've got about a 1/3, almost halfway down dark, and then the bottom part will be the foundation. That'll be the foreground. And that's the part that we're going to really look at here, see if we can do a really decent job of it. So I put in some yellow ochre. I'm using the fan brush there, which is my favourite brush. And I'm throwing in a bit of blue into that yellow to create a sort of shadow line across there. The light in this painting is coming from the right-hand side. It's about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. In goes the figure. Well, she had a pink dress, so I guess I better put pink in there. And really, I had her standing up there, and that standing position translates into almost a rectangle. So I didn't ask her to wave the arms around or do anything special. You know, I just wanted her to find her way as a girl would in a field, just sort of being part of nature and being relaxed and thoughtful about where she is and reflecting on things. So that pose is sort of a romantic, passive one. It's not aggressive, but it gives us an idea of what's going on there. Now, the second part to any figure is getting the shape, getting the 3-dimensional aspect about it. So we do that by putting in the lights and the darks. Where the shadows are, we deepen it, and where the lights are, we come up in value. So the top of the shoulder, the light will be hitting there. It'll be hitting on the dress where the hip is. Under the back there, it's in shadow. And of course, the dress has got folds. When it drapes down, it finds its position. Where there's a hip there, it'll come out a little bit, and that'll receive the sun. So we'll look for the highlights, and we look for the little crinkles and the dapples and the little things that go on in a dress when it's falling over legs and torsos and so forth. And so that's what we're doing there now. And I'm using the liner brush. It's just great. I make that paint pretty thin because it'll just sit on there, a bit like water then. And as I get further on, I thicken that up. So, but at this point, we're just keeping it thin. On goes the old hat at the top, and that tells us where the head is, the top of the head. And notice how it pops out of that dark background. And that's what I want. That's why I used a background like that. This is a sort of a 2-part composition. Dark at the top and lighter at the bottom where the foreground is. And they're perfect. It's a perfect arrangement for figurative works like this. You can do anything with that as long as you've got something. If you plan it, like I said to the lady there, put a pink hat on or a light hat. If that was a dark hat, it'd be lost in that. And so we need to think ahead. What's going to work in this painting? What colours are going to be exciting and sort of feminine? How are we going to make the head stand out? If that was against a cloud, well, you wouldn't be able to see much of it, would you? And even the face, I mean, even though this is a very small area totally, it's only about 3/4 of an inch, but there's a nose, there's an ear, there's eyes, there's a shape in there, and we need to show that detail when there is detail, because people will walk into a gallery or into your house and they'll see a painting on the wall, and if the effect of it is inviting enough and attractive enough and compelling enough, they'll look, they'll stop, then they'll go and have a close look at it, and they want to see if you've done your work, if you've really done your homework on that person. Who is it, they'll ask, and then they'll try and identify it. If you do a good job, they'll know who it is, but even if it's not, they might imagine it to be their daughter or their niece or someone else in the family. So doing your homework is important in a painting. And getting these little folds in the top of that dress is important too. Under that arm, of course, that arm is going to receive light and colour from the foreground, from the grass below it. So there'll be a little bit of yellow in there, a little bit of yellow. Always think about what you're doing. Even under the brim of that hat, there'll be a little bit of yellow under there. All important. I mean, if I was doing this as a major painting, I'd be working up that background a lot more. But for this demonstration here, and just to get you sort of enthused with painting, let's keep it simple. Let's just keep it to a few brushes and a few tubes of paint. I mean, the more tubes of paint, the more colour you've got out there, the greater the chance is you're going to have a mess. So that's why I insist on just a couple of colours, and I'm only using a few here. I've put a couple of extra colours in there, apart from my light red and cobalt blue and yellow ochre. I've got some yellows, I've got a little bit of red in there and so forth as well. Now we get to the foreground, and this is where this brush really comes into play. And it's great. It's a pastry brush, and I get the bristles and I bend them back, I destroy them, I try and get as much variation in the shape of those bristles as I can. I want them some standing right out, some sort of weeping, some sort of half bent and half rounded out, and then I skip that across the paint, and then I load that onto the canvas, push it up and down until you get lines and you get blobs and you get all sorts of funny, spontaneous effects. And that's great, because this is a field. This is not a manicured garden. This is a field of wild grass and stalks and flowers and all these other things that happen in a paddock, where there might be a few cows around there, or wind is blowing and things move around, and you've got flowers in there, you've got thistles, you've got some weeds in there that have got pollen on them, and they're bouncing around in the air. So you've got a lot of things happening, and you've got to try and... All those things are great in a painting, because they all add that extra dimension of unknown about a painting. So the more you can do that in a painting, the better that painting is going to be. And look at that dark background now. I can pop up little sprinkles of colour up in there and make them look like there's flowers and on the end of stalks and all sorts of things you can do in there. I'm putting in different colours as well now, popping in some green, some nice green bouncing around in various parts there. You don't need to tie them to stalks, you just put them in there. The eye will do the rest. The viewer's eye will say, oh, well, I know what that is. If I put some flowers, some pink flowers in there, which I will do, right, that'll also mean something to people as they look at it. They'll say, they'll know what that is. Right? And even these ones now I'm putting in, that's giving dimension to that distance behind the girl. So we're adding a little bit of depth of field in here for the viewer. There we go. Well, that looks pretty good. And she's quite a happy girl standing in that field, and I can see some butterflies flying around her as well. Well, maybe. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.